Hi, all. Hi. For those that don't know me, my name is Bill Armstrong. I have the distinct pleasure of being one of his best men. The other being the tall gentleman to my right, Geoff. First, I want to thank, of course, the Renegers. Last night, a lot of fun. I think everyone had a great time. Some stayed up a little longer than they need to. I enjoyed my sleep. A special thanks, of course, to the ambulance. Today is wonderful. This turned out to be as beautiful as it could possibly be. So thank you. Today's a very special day for a lot of reasons. Obviously, we get to celebrate these two. No good speech starts without a good story. So those of you who don't know the Emblads, they've lived a lot of places. They've lived here. She actually grew up in New York. Am I right? Correct. Okay. They actually spent some time in Alaska. Alaska's known for snow, ice, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So a little known story is when they moved from Alaska to here, they did a very special thing. They actually took ice from a glacier, the Mendenhall Glacier up in Alaska, and they took it and put it in their freezer for a special occasion. And that is the ice that you guys are drinking tonight. It's your story.
Oh, okay, yes, I will keep it short, honey. Bill, thank you very much. The ice was in the freezer, lots of it to bring down. Bill's caribou, moose, salmon, cod, halibut, you name it. And there was a lot of it. And that was 30 years ago. Chrissy is 30 years old. Oh, well, that's okay. I'm 61. Anyway, the drive down was very interesting. Bill was in a Volkswagen Rabbit, pulling the smallest U-Haul that was ever made with the smallest Sears Roebuck freezer ever made, and we still have that freezer. It was the first piece of furniture we had in Alaska. But I was 4.5 months pregnant with Chrissy when I hiked the Chilkoot Trail. And I would like to present her with something. Now, can you talk to her?
I can talk all day. I'm not going to interrupt your story, though. I got you. What, the mic or that?
The mic.
Oh, yes.
I am presenting you with my bear belts. They're very special. That saved my life on the Chilkoot Trail, 33 miles with you. So you hiked it. Here's 2 books about Skagway. They're sort of old. You can't get one anymore. And you get a pumpkin bucket because you've always been called Pumpkin. And you get 2 pens from Sweden, from Jan. And you get the original hand-typed account, Ziploc. I'm good for Ziploc bags besides buckets. Yeah. You get the original hand-typed account of our adventure going over the trail that I typed on, I don't know how much those IBMs were. Typewriters, they felt like 500 pounds. So you got your bucket and you got another Ziploc bag.
There's a lot to celebrate. So I have my speech. I first want to thank you guys for making this necessary. Rob, you look great. Chrissy, you look beautiful. I've been friends with Rob for about 6 years now. Happy to celebrate with him today. Of course, the years haven't gone exactly like he had planned, I'm sure he never would have thought he'd be here right now today. I, for one, never would have guessed he would have found a girl as great as Chrissy. Chrissy, you're beautiful. Again. It's my wife. Yes. As Ashley alluded to, Rob doesn't always shy away from a healthy debate. He gets lots of joy out of playing devil's advocate, sometimes just for the sake of having fun. It can make sometimes for some lively, happy hour conversations, but despite his energy and his love of pushing people's buttons, Rob is genuinely one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. When I first met him, it was no surprise that him and I became instant friends. We're both passionate about fun, love, life, the Philadelphia Eagles. Woo! Chrissy, I have the microphone. A good beer or cocktail, funny puns, good jokes, all appropriate, I'm sure. And the list goes on. With that said, Rob and I have found our fair share of fun. Countless dinner dates with our girlfriends, with our wives, cooking good meals, good pizzas. Rob always brings the dessert. Softball games, kayaking across the sound, like Ashley said. Football games, and those fun-filled debates. We've had the opportunity to create some great memories, brother. Now, Rob, no best man speech is complete without a little ribbing and roasting. So when I sat down to think about what stories to share, I thought, all right, I already joked about his combative attitude. He's taller than I am, so that's out of the question. He used to dive, but imagining him in a Speedo, inappropriate. I can dance better than him, but you'll see that later. And I said, all right, I'm going to leave a lot out. I'm actually going to make this a good toast. I love you, brother, but I will open myself up. If you want to hear those stories, come find me later. In all seriousness, Rob is truly one of the nicest and best people you'll ever meet. He will give you the shirt off his back. He's there to talk about anything at any time. He will brighten your day. He'll even fly back to Connecticut for a birthday. I'm grateful for our friendship. I love you like a brother. I ask everyone to please raise a glass in toasting the bride and groom. May your love together be filled with good health, good fortune, happiness, lots of love, and honor.
To honor.
I'm so glad Bill gave a nice toast. No problem. So I'm Geoff Munger, and I originally hail from Connecticut, which is where I met Rob. Been friends with him about 12 years, and have recently moved out to the Denver area as well. Kind of followed him out here. And for many, many years, Rob has heard me introduce him to new friends with my standard disclaimer, which goes something like this. I apologize in advance for anything he might say. Now, there's some truth and there's some jest in that statement. The truth being that, let's face it, in any given conversation, Rob is very, very likely to say something for which an apology is warranted. The jest is that I'm far more likely to brag about Rob than I ever am to apologize for him. If that weren't the case, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have followed him halfway across the country or 2/3 of the way across the country to live 15 minutes away from him. Wouldn't have had his back for 15 years, and I wouldn't be able to stand in front of you and tell you that this guy is the closest friend I have and the best friend I could hope for. Now, nobody's perfect. Holly and Bob did the best they could for the first 20 plus years of Rob's life. And given what they had to work with, I think we can all commend them on a job well done. I stepped in and did my best to try and help mold Rob into a presentable human being fit for public consumption. And I like to think that I smoothed out some of the rough edges a little bit. But now, Chrissy, we turn him over to you, and despite our best efforts, you do have your work cut out for you. Just know that we're all here to help out as we can. Now, with that said, I would like to give Rob some advice that will hopefully make Chrissy's job a little less daunting. And I'm going to savor this because I have the mic. And for the first time since I've known him, he has to sit there and listen, and he can't argue with me. That'll come later. So, Rob, Chrissy is absolutely wonderful. You know that better than anyone here, save maybe her family. She chose to be with you. She thinks the world of you. Just now, she accepted you, warts and all, for the rest of your lives. So my advice is make a habit of remembering that. Not just on anniversaries, or holidays, or romantic vacations, but when you're doing chores together. When you come home tired and frustrated after a rough day at work. When you feel yourself about to get annoyed over something trivial. Now, legal side of me will say that's just another standard disclaimer because we all know Rob never, ever, ever gets annoyed over anything trivial. But honestly, make it a habit to remind yourself that Chrissy chose you, as I spill my wine, out of everybody on this planet. And let the importance of that never fade. Now, Chrissy, out of everybody on the planet? Really? Seriously though, you are two very different people. And that's you always will be. And that's a good thing. As Holly said to me just last night, thank God. Can you imagine two Robs? All kidding aside, she's right. No. Basically, you two share so many things and love so many things together. Well, probably more so than any couple I know. And you're always going to have that. That's the easy stuff. What's going to make this a truly lasting and happy marriage is genuinely accepting, supporting each other's, the things that make you both unique. That's what's going to matter. And with that, a toast. Always love each other for who you are, because that's who you fell in love with. And you are both absolutely perfect, warts and all.
A big round of applause for Geoff and Bill, ladies and gentlemen. All right, folks, please continue to enjoy your lovely dinner. We've got a very special treat for you here in just a few moments, and then we'll get into some fun dancing here in just a little while. Thank you, guys.